I actually I usually just shave my head, like I let the hair grow out, and then I shave it
Okay.
like once twice a year. So
Uh-huh.
I totally have that same look several times. Give me one sec. Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Geoff with Fluent American checking in with our new friend Mark. I'll introduce him in a moment, but as always, we're going to be focusing on aspects of pronunciation. But today is obviously a little bit different because I'm going to be learning some British English. I've never learned British English before, so this is going to be a learning experience. I think a lot of you guys actually may speak better British English than I will. But yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Mark. Can you just give a quick introduction?
Hey, Jeff. Hi, everyone. Good to be here with you. Jeff, by the end of this session, your British English is going to be better than your students, so don't worry. Good. So, do you want me to just kick off?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's really good to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me to share with you something about this deep connection, this linguistic love between our nations, and something about how your having stolen and corrupted the English language has impacted things today. So I was trying to think of some representative, symbolic representation of this relationship between British and American English. And I came across these guys. This is Howie and Simon from America's Got Talent. But then I also came across these two, and I think they might be a better example for us. These guys are in the news a lot for all kinds of reasons. But one of the things that they're in the news about is how their language differences rub up against each other and bounce off each other and influence each other and their children. So what I thought we'd do today, rather than go through any rules and regulations, is just do some practical practice about listening to the differences in pronunciation and thinking about that together a little bit, about what are some of the common threads. So I've got a series of little sentences, nothing too complicated for you, don't worry, but just to hear your pronunciation and then for you to hear mine and for us to work together at improving your English, Jeff, basically.
Why am I so nervous? I'm not used to this
Okay.
experience.
So I've put together some sentences that have got some differences in terms of vocabulary, but we're focusing together on pronunciation. But obviously, if there's stuff around the vocab that we want to talk about, we can do that too. And obviously, if any questions come through from YouTube, just let me know, and we'll respond to those as we go. Good. So here we go. Don't be nervous. Just read for me.
She left her mobile at home.
Okay, so I'd say this in original sophisticated British English. She left her mobile at home. So just one little difference that I notice here is the at word. So I pronounce the T on the end quite audibly, whereas you're tending not to. Just read it again for me.
Mm-hmm. She left her mobile at home.
At home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the differences. So I'm doing like teacher English, which is a bit different from the English you'd hear on the street.
Right.
And one of the influences of American English in British culture is an informalization of pronunciation quite a lot. So kids in the streets would be speaking English like American movie stars, basically. So you do notice that T sound being dropped a little bit.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah. And it's something kind of like parents will complain at their children about. Speak English properly. So she left her mobile at home.
How common? So we have a question here from Sun.
Uh-huh.
How common is it? Like, is it always mobile? Do people ever say cell phone?
No, it's always mobile.
Oh,
Mobile.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people here nowadays know what cell means.
Convenient.
But we don't use it. It just hasn't caught on. It's interesting. Some Americanisms have caught on, but that's one.
Some things are more stubborn.
Yeah. Okay, this one.
You Should I pronounce the T's or not pronounce the T?
I want you to read it as you'd normally
Okay,
read
as I
it.
normally do. Okay.
Yeah.
You ought to water all the plants I bought you.
Okay, I hoped it would come out something like that. That's really shocking and funny. So just tell me again.
You ought to water all the plants I bought you.
Okay, you ought to water, right? So I would say you ought to water all the plants I bought you. You ought to water all the plants I bought you. Just try that for me, Geoff.
Can you say it one more time?
You.
You.
Let's do it word by word.
Okay. You.
That's very nice. Good. Well done. Ought.
Ought.
To.
Water.
Ooh, water.
Water.
Water. Or. So the A vowel sound is or, like the word or. Or.
One thing I'm noticing is people in the chat probably recognize from like placement, things like that. It feels like my placement's a lot higher. Like I feel like I'm a lot tenser, like through here, especially like the back of my mouth. Because American English is so much in the throat and so much relaxed. Like for instance, like water, right? Versus like water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Water. So it's quite a long vowel sound. Or water.
Water.
And then the ER sound, this is the schwa, the sound, which is very common for us.
Right.
So water.
Water.
All. So this is a word that I didn't realize was different for us, but it clearly is.
Yeah, because it's more open, I think, in American. Yeah.
All. So for me, this A vowel sound here is exactly the same as the A vowel sound in water.
Okay, so like
which
water,
is or.
Water.
Okay, sounds a little bit Chinese there. It's interesting. All the plants.
All the plants.
So I'm from the north of England originally.
Okay.
And one of the interesting differences here is, I know you have it too, regional variations.
For sure. Yeah.
And generally speaking, northern England has shorter vowel sounds than southern England. So I say plants. Prince Harry will be teaching Meghan to say plants.
Plants versus plants.
So that
like
longer R sound, plants. So I'm going to stick with the way I speak.
That's perfectly fine.
A bit more authentic, but you'll hear both.
Right.
So and bought. Bought, exactly, yeah. So that or sound is coming through in the second word, the verb ought. It's there in war, water, all, and bought. It's like repeating the same sound. You ought to water all the plants I bought you.
You ought to water. Oh God! You ought
to water
all the plants I bought you. Bought
you.
Does that happen in British English too with the linking, with the T and Y? So for instance, American English like bought you very typically ends up with like a ch. Sounds like bought you or bought you.
Botcha.
So the T more maintained.
I bought you. I bought you. So yeah, we would say I bought you informally.
Right. Like
I bought you. Yeah. So not the ch, the bought ch, that doesn't happen. But bought you. Bought you. Yeah. Okay. One last time. You ought to water all the plants I bought you.
You ought to water all the plants I bought you.
It's interesting. So you mentioned being tense up here, tight.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too much. It's sounding like you just need to relax a little bit.
Relax a little bit more. But
getting that right position, isn't it?
Yeah. You ought to water all the plants I bought you.
Very nice. Okay, here we go.
We have a question here. Of course, this would come up. Let's talk about the word mate.
Mate?
Yeah. Like when you're hanging out with your mates.
Yeah.
How common is that? Is it formal, informal?
So mate is very informal. Prince Harry wouldn't be using that word very much in everyday conversation. But it's very common amongst friends in an informal, relaxed environment.
Got you.
People will often say it at the end of the sentence, "How are you doing, mate?"
Yeah.
Like that.
Also,
Good.
one last quick too. The word.
Mhm.
Can you say the word plants again?
Plants.
Plants. Yeah. We had a question. So like the T is the T pronounced like plants? It sounds like a it's like a TS type.
Exactly. So the T, you do notice the T.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would come out plans.
Yeah. Exactly. And it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So plants, Northern English, Southern English, plants. It's just
Right.
the vowel sound that's
I
changing.
feel like if you hear like Americans do like a stereotypical British accent, you'll hear a lot more like plants, like plant, like super wide and things like that.
Yeah, plants. You can
super
notice your
exaggerated.
mouth doing it.
Yeah.
Good. Give this one a go.
Aluminum's always one of those fun words, yeah, for compare. Aluminum is especially awesome in autumn.
Okay, so aluminium is especially awesome in autumn. Awesome in autumn. So there you're hearing that same vowel sound, that or, which isn't so high. It's kind of middle, I think, compared with what you're doing. So aluminium, and I didn't realize that you spell this word differently.
I didn't know that too. I was like, I just learned that.
You pronounced it differently, but you spell it differently too, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So aluminium is especially awesome in autumn.
Awesome. Can we just do that last part? It's like awesome in autumn.
Nice, yeah. Okay. Awesome in autumn.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Oh yeah, because of the E sound before the U. Yeah. Aluminium. Aluminium. Oh, now I'm doing like a long short. Wow, it's tricky.
Aluminium.
Aluminium is especially awesome in autumn.
Autumn.
Okay, keep the T. Autumn.
Autumn. Do I really sound like that?
No, it's just totally me.
Autumn. Good. Awesome's one of those words. I chose it because I know that the way you commonly hear that in American.
Like awesome, super wide, awesome. Yeah, super wide. There are some people that pronounce it like an aw, because that's the thing that's kind of tripping me up right now is that the British aw sound is not exactly the same as the American one. Similar, but not quite the same, and that's kind of throwing. I'm still trying to figure out the perfect placement for that.
Yeah.
A couple more questions for you, Mark. I'm sorry we keep getting.
That's all right.
So more questions about T's. This is from Mihaela, if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. In British English, in words like drafts, gifts, and facts, I think we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier with plants. Is the T maintained or dropped? So again, like facts, gifts, drafts.
So it's that kind of about the register of the context. So in informal, relaxed conversation, you'd hear it dropped a little bit. In general, more standard English, you definitely hear it maintained.
Can you give me some examples? Like let's use like drafts as an example.
Drafts. So what kind of drafts are you meaning here? Is this drafts coming through the window or drafts that you name?
Let's say I was thinking like a paper draft, like a draft of an essay or something like that.
Okay. Another one, a different meaning. Okay. Yes. So the administrator has produced a draft report, which is being sent out in draft form to all the members of the committee. Draft. So it's quite strongly there. Yeah.
Really, I was going to say it's there, but subtle. But
okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So it's not kind of spat out. It's not
right.
Forced draft like this. But it also depends what comes after it, right?
Fair.
So whatever the net following sound is, that connection sometimes.
Also, February. How do we pronounce February in British English?
Feb. We usually contract it. No, it's
Really?
no.
I was about to say, I was like, I've never heard that before.
It's one of the words. It's like Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
These two words, you hear plenty of British people mispronouncing them or
Mhm.
pronouncing them their own way. I mean,
That's the
who
best way
can
of
say
putting
what's right or wrong? So,
it.
February, February,
February.
February.
Interesting. So there's a lot more There's a lot of truncating. There's a lot more truncating what you catch in America, because typically American is like February. You're still getting. You're just dropping the R, but you're maintaining
Yeah.
the rest. Like
And
February.
that's common here as well.
Okay.
February, February. As I'm saying that, I'm hearing my mother nagging me, say it properly. So I was born in February, so
Got you. Super important.
kind of learned to
Yeah.
say that.
And
And Wednesday, Wednesday, the D generally is dropped out of
same in
that.
America. Yeah. Wednesday.
But if you're speaking properly, you would say Wednesday.
Oh wow. Yeah. That sounds
You
super.
do hear
proper.
that. You do hear that a lot. Wednesday.
Let me make sure other quick questions, and of course, guys, if you have other questions as we go through this, be sure to let me know. Oregano.
No, that's just so wrong.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oregano.
Oregano.
And cilantro. You know, we don't say that.
Oh God.
Cilantro is coriander.
Ah, okay. There we go. Yeah. And then cilantro. Excuse you.
Oh, sorry. How is it?
Cilantro. It's
Cilantro.
yeah, cilantro. Yeah.
And I'm going to have to speak to my therapist after this session.
Right. It's very traumatic.
And basil.
Oh, like the saint or whatever, right? Yeah, basil.
Basil. Exactly. So
It's just the herbs and things. Okay.
yeah, basil, oregano, and coriander. There you go. Good. So, Geoff, tell me about these pictures here. This is basically more about cars than about elephants, but it's one of the interesting little vocab things that I think is quite funny. So, choose one and tell me about it.
I guess we can just go in order. So top left, I'm seeing a pair of boots with elephants on them.
Okay.
You can also call them rubber boots or rain boots. Yeah.
Okay. We call them wellies. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've never heard of wellies.
Wellies is the contraction from Wellington boots.
Ah, there we go. That makes more sense.
This is the origin of the story. Is the Duke of Wellington invented these kind of shoes to keep the feet warm. So wellies. So why have I got boots when I'm talking about cars? Any idea?
Because the trunk of a car is called a boot.
The back of the car where you put your bags, in British English, we call this the boot. So here you can see a trunk in the boot.
Oh, look at you. I see what you did.
Clever, right? Clever. Trunk in the boot.
Yeah.
And the front of the car, in British English, is called the bonnet.
That makes...
Bonnet.
It's one of those things that I've heard before. It just always...
What do you guys say?
The hood. That's the hood.
The hood. Okay. So here we've got an elephant on the bonnet. And here we've got an elephant
wearing
a bonnet, wearing a bonnet.
Right.
You know, this word bonnet?
Same thing. Yeah,
Yep.
same thing. Yeah. Bonnets also, especially like black women in the United States, when they get their hair done, a lot of times they're also tend to wear like a bonnet.
Style.
Yeah. No, it's a different type of, it's like a hair covering to like not let the elements affect your hair kind of thing. It's like you just got your hair done, so you don't want it to get it messed up, so you can wear a bonnet. Or you're in the middle.
So just a flat piece of fabric.
I mean, it molds to your head shape, but yeah. I'll send you a picture.
It's just, I think what you're referring to as a bonnet, we call a headscarf. Or is that different?
Different. Because it's not just this like headscarf. Yeah, obviously, like religious reasons, but also could just be for style.
Okay. Yeah.
But this is like more for like actual like keeping like humidity and stuff away from your hair.
I'm super interested in how to protect my hair, so it's really.
We could talk hair products then.
And then this last one, I just thought this was quite funny. This is an elephant wearing boots. Okay, so the point being, trunk for us is boot, and hood for us is bonnet. Good. So,
Oh no, just a note, Mark. Students are starting to get confused between American and British English. We knew this was going to happen at some point. Also, I'm seeing one person, Zobeda asks, did he say bunnet? Is bunnet a word? B-U-N-E-T? I am not familiar with.
No, it's just my bad English. Excuse me. Bonnet. Bonnet. So B-O-N-N-E-T.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
All right.
I'll put that in chat. Great.
Good. So back to some pronunciation stuff here. So 2 baths, as Prince Harry would say, Northern British English, bath. How would you read this sentence?
The bottom bath is hotter than the top bath.
Okay. So can you see these letters here, the double T and double T? Why don't you say them?
We do. They becomes a flap T or a fast D sound. So typically, if you get like a vowel and a T or 2 T's and then followed by another vowel, American English is going to become like a D sound pronounced very, very quickly. It's like bottom, almost like an R.
R.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for us, we would always hear that T sound. So the bottom bath is hotter than the top bath. The bottom bath is hotter than the top bath. Tell me.
Can you say bottom again? Bottom.
Bottom.
The bottom bath is hotter than.
Is it painful?
No,
like, does it
no. It's just completely changing how I do everything.
Yeah.
My poor pronunciation says the bottom bath is hotter than the top bath. Bath.
Very nice.
Bath.
So that sound bath flexes all the way down to bath. You hear everything kind of in between.
Okay.
It'd be British, yeah.
Good to know. What about the town? The same thing, like Bath versus Bath, or like the location.
Sorry, Bath. So even somebody from the north of England who's reasonably well educated and knows the place would call it Bath.
Bath.
Even if they would normally say a bath for washing.
Really? So even for for all those situations, they may say like Bath, but for the town, it's Bath.
Because the town is fixed in the south of England, it's it's known by that pronunciation. Interesting. Yeah. Good. One more time. The bottom bath is hotter than the top bath.
The bottom bath is hotter than the top bath.
Okay. I heard somebody told me that the word top is, you pronounce this differently.
Top. Toes in American English. I mean, O's in American English, and a lot of, obviously not every situation, but in a lot of them, more of an sound, super Y. Top versus top.
So for us, it's a very round
Yeah. Top. Gotcha.
And this one, this is funny. This isn't true, by the way.
You've tried. They threw up everywhere. I would typically say this as zebras often love banana yogurt.
Tell me again.
Zebras often love banana yogurt.
Okay, so the second time you said often, the first time you said often, you'd often say often, right?
Typically it's often. Typically T disappears, yeah.
For us, this animal is a zebra, not a zebra. Right. A zebra. And how do you say the fruit?
Banana.
Banana. In British English, banana.
Banana.
Very nice. Banana. And the dairy product, you say
yogurt.
I say yogurt.
Yogurt. Like yogurt. Okay, yogurt.
You're making me laugh, Geoff. Yogurt.
Yogurt. You're going to be like hyper conscious next time you say yogurt.
So zebras often love banana yogurt.
Pronouncing the T in often.
Often.
Always.
Often. No, not always.
Not always. Okay. Depends how you're feeling.
Yeah, it depends how I'm feeling. So often. Often we don't, actually, that word. It's you often don't hear it.
Okay.
More often than not.
Okay.
Zebras often love banana yogurt.
Zebras. Got me wrong.
What happened then?
Right?
Zebras.
I think my mind is like treating it as like a different language completely. It's like, oh, we need to roll our R's. Yeah. Zebras often love banana yogurt.
Banana yogurt.
Banana yogurt.
Banana. So the first a there is schwa. Banana.
Banana yogurt.
Yogurt, exactly. Good. Well done. Good. Do you need a break?
No, but you don't have to lie to me, Mark. It's going horribly.
And then here's a couple of vocab differences, just to pick out the pronunciation of these as well. Go ahead.
Oh, we have a really quick. Can you say the word travel for our friends? Travel.
I'll charge extra.
I'll cover the cost for them.
Travel.
Yeah.
That's it. Exactly the same as you, right?
Yeah.
Travel.
Can you say travel again?
Travel.
American English is more like in cat, travel versus travel. It's not quite travel. It's more travel.
Travel.
Yes, it's not travel.
Travel.
It's more track. Yeah, so a quick note about that. Also, we have a comment from Zabeda. Some people say yogurt. So like yogurt, like cutting off the R. Does that ever happen?
Yoga.
Like not yoga.
This is yoga. This is like, yeah.
No, but maintaining the T. Like yogurt. Does that ever happen? I'm just a question from
in British English.
Yeah.
Yogurt. If you're dropping the T because
dropping the R, dropping the R. Does that
okay? But in British English that wouldn't happen. So we drop the T if it's informal. Yogurt. And
interesting. Okay.
Parents would shout at you, pronounce your T. Yogurt.
Got you. And double checking. I think that's all we got. People are offering me support. Offering therapy. This is great. All right. So this sentence, I would say, please tick the box if you've ever eaten crisps in a lift. It's quite a sentence there.
Okay. So the only real pronunciation difference is box.
Yeah,
box. And that's the O sound that you were saying before with top, isn't it? That
box. Am I saying that okay? Box.
So it sounds like you've got something in your mouth.
Hang on, let me get it out.
Oh, box. So it's too extended somehow, Geoff. Just it's a shorter sound. It's about the position and the length, right? Box.
Box.
Yeah. Please tick the box.
Please tick the box.
And you say check, right?
If you said tick, I don't think people would bat an eye. I think people would be okay. But yeah, check might be a little bit more common. Yeah.
You say bat an eye?
Bat an eye, yeah.
Interesting. So we say bat an eyelid.
Oh, too specific.
That's really funny. You'd never hear anyone say bat an eye.
So you say, like you never bat an eyelid. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds so like the mental image is.
That's really interesting, right? For you, that's too specific.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of another one of my favorite differences here. So not about zebras, but horses. If you're on riding a horse, how do you say this? The action?
Like riding a horse, like horseback riding, like
you say horseback riding, right?
Yeah.
So for us, that's really strange because obviously you're on the back of the horse. Why do you have to specify?
Well, you've obviously never seen me ride a horse and get thrown off. So that's ideally, yes.
So it's interesting. To bat an eyelid sounds too specific for you.
Yeah, the mental image is just like
horseback riding is too specific for me.
So it's just like
you just say horse riding.
Yeah,
horse riding.
Makes sense. I could see that. We have speaking of horses. More questions for you, Mark. When does the R disappear in British English?
When does the R disappear? Most of the time, especially when it's at the end of words. So
Typically before a consonant, no? Like a word like learn
learn.
or even my mind's going
That's,
blank.
I'm thinking water.
Okay, let's think like that.
So water. That's just a schwa sound for us. So the R has gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, learn. So you don't hear it. You'd notice if it wasn't written,
Right. Yeah.
then you'd say it differently. But learn, whereas you would say
Learn
much stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just quick note. I know we're approaching time. If now we're already there. If you got to go, do your thing. I completely understand.
No, I haven't. This is my thing, helping Americans speak properly.
It'll never work.
So this little expression, so obviously sharing one of our great British institutions with you, but then the thing that we say at the end of the year, this always intrigues me, the difference here. So read this one for me.
Fish and chips is a great way to wish yourself Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So British English, fish and chips, stressing the chips. So what I've heard before, been told, is that you guys would stress the fish and chips.
That's weird because typically,
No?
most common situations, you got a noun, like you're pairing nouns with and. I imagine it's the same with British English. Your stress typically falls on the last one.
Yeah.
Unless you're, maybe some people are viewing this as like a compound noun.
Compound
Like
noun.
this is a whole unit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's become so institutionalized that's happened. But yeah, personally, I would say fish and chips. I would put the stress on chips myself.
I guess as well, you don't say it all that often either.
Nah, it's fries.
Okay.
It's fries, unless.
Yeah. So fish and chips is a great way to wish yourself Happy New Year.
You stress year.
We stress the year.
But it's a compound noun, man. It's a specific thing. It's a new year.
Happy New Year. For you, maybe, but for us, no. Happy New Year. So it's one of the things that sounds so American to a British ear.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Versus Happy New Year. And also new, I'm guessing, is like new.
Exactly. This is one of the other sounds as well. So for us, new.
New.
Whereas you don't have that at all, right? It's just new.
Yeah, drop off that E part. Yeah.
Good. So we're gonna watch a little video picking up some of how these differences in consonant sounds, vowel sounds, stressed syllables, how this can cause real headaches for Meghan and Harry. And in this little video interview, we're going to hear some of these very British expressions and words.
Bob's your uncle is an expression.
Yeah, you know this one?
I don't know this one.
No? Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle. This means, you say this when you're trying to find a solution for a problem. You find the solution, it fixes everything. You say, Bob's your uncle.
It's like Eureka! I did it. Like, look at that.
Exactly. Okay. It's all sorted.
Got you. A couple quick questions before we jump into this too. Can you understand Scottish accents?
It depends how drunk they are.
Fair.
So Scottish accent, that's a really interesting thing. There's so many Scottish accents. Yeah. It's very regional, just like the rest of British. And some Scottish accents are harder to understand than others. Yeah. For example, an Edinburgh Scottish accent would be relatively easy for me to understand, whereas a Glasgow accent, a different city in Scotland, would be very difficult for me to understand. And that's as much about vocabulary and dialect as accent, actually, but it's the combination of all those things.
Got you. Makes sense. So answer is, it depends.
Do you know we don't say got you either?
Ooh.
It's interesting, right? You say that a lot. Like we would say,
I see.
I see, exactly.
I understand completely.
Exactly. Gotcha. Okay. Good. So is there one on there that you have any idea of, you're pretty confident you know what it means? Your guys online
Every
checking this as well.
yeah, actually, yeah. For people joining us, which expressions here are you familiar with?
Geoff, you sound desperate, like you're looking for help.
Help, guys! This is my phone a friend. I'm guessing rubbish is like trash or like worthless, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So rubbish. We don't say garbage or trash. We say rubbish for literally and metaphorically. So the stuff that we throw out to be collected for waste disposal, that's rubbish.
Gotcha.
If you're having a bad day, it's a rubbish day.
Yeah. Or if your team plays horribly,
They've played rubbishly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I would just say gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
So other ones, every bloody time is like just every time, just exactly
every time. So
like
bloody is quite a common expression here. It's a little bit dated nowadays. We'd have a stronger swear word. You'd hear a lot more commonly there, but it's kind of typically English, and you do.
That's another stereotypical, like when an American's trying
stereotypical because it's common, right? So you do still hear it, especially with older generations.
Got
it's
you.
true. Yeah.
Got you. Oh, we have another.
Good.
Oh, sorry. We have another question. 11. Can you say 11 for me? North friends.
11.
Yeah, pretty. So 11.
So
I feel like the V's a little stronger in American English, but yeah.
Tell me.
I feel like the V sounds a little bit stronger in American English, like 11.
11. Yeah, just draw it out a little bit longer. 11.
And I guess the question for me: what does "mind you" mean? Zobeda, can you give me like some context on that? Like, if someone says like mind you, I don't like. It kind of means how do I explain that? Like, maybe through an example situation, like if you said like, oh, I'm having a bad day, mind you, I stayed up too late last night or something like that.
Exactly.
So it's like kind of a way of like going back on what you just said to a degree. So, Beta, if that answers your question, let me know. Other things I'm missing. Man, listen, British. That. We're seeing some love for the British accent.
Thank you. It's about time.
And unfortunately, we're also seeing some people who say it makes them laugh.
Well, it's entirely mutual.
Zobeda, do you mind and mind you have slightly different meanings. Again, if you're asking like someone, do you mind? That means like does it bother you? Just kind of keep in mind the difference there.
It can also mean if you say, do you mind if somebody's annoying you, doing something to irritate you? Do you mind? Would you mind stop doing that?
Yeah, it's a not so subtle clue. Yeah. Exactly. I feel like you'll hear that in the US as well, though I think it's a little bit more predominant in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, what we got?
Okay, so this is just a short 2-minute little video clip with Meghan and Harry and a relationship counselor talking about how the realities of American and British English rubbing up against each other can cause problems. Listen out for these British expressions and see, contextualize whether you can make sense of them. I'll put them up again afterwards. Okay.
Are you sharing your audio?
Good point.
Okay. take back your share really quick. Try to reshare and see if it. I don't think I fully got it. Another question too. I imagine you don't have this. Do you have a sheet with like American English expressions that's similar to the one you just showed? I'm gonna guess no.
Not to share now, no.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of
Yep.
things like that
Yeah, for sure. You
available
can find
out
it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's try this again.
Okay.
Mountbatten, Windsor, correct? Well, to be.
Exciting.
Wait, Prince Harry?
Yes.
Good Lord. What seems to be the problem with your relation?
Well, we are great. I love Megan very much.
Yes, we're very much in love, but we're having a few problems communicating.
It's quite natural. You use different words, and it can be quite miffing, I find, for couples such as yourselves.
No, I literally do not understand this man.
And I don't know why. We'll be having a chinwag, just a bog standard chinwag, and she starts whinging. Oh my God, Harry, why are you saying these words?
I do not sound like that.
Well, you do.
Anyway, look, as Princess Megan, I just want to make sure that our marriage is off to a good start. I don't want there to be any communication problems between us.
This is a bit awkward. They've obviously haven't told you they're not actually going to give you the title of Princess.
I'm not going to be a princess?
No, Megan, it's really fine. Don't worry about it.
Duchess.
What's a duchess?
Duchess and princess are basically the same thing.
No, they are not the same. Not like at all.
Of Sussex.
What's a Sussex?
It's the place of which you'll be Duchess. Look, please don't throw a wobbly.
What's a wobbly?
You're getting shirty with me.
Shirty?
Why don't you understand me?
Because you don't talk right. You are the reason for our breakdown in communication.
Codswallop. Absolute codswallop.
Now you're just making up words.
Every bloody time.
Well, yes, my wife is actually from the US. We haven't actually understood each other for many years. She's from Kansas, that's right, yes.
Arkansas?
Bless you. So, how often do you find these problems arise, generally?
Whenever we go out.
We can't even enjoy going out for fish and chips without arguing.
There. Did you hear that?
I did, yes, awful.
What?
Why do you say it like that?
Fish and chips.
Yes, exactly. Why do you put the accent on the fish?
That's how you say it.
No, it's not. We've had this conversation many times. Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
I'm literally saying what you're saying.
Look, I'm going to give you both a little exercise to do next time you go out. I mean, this weekend, have you got any plans at all?
Bits and bobs.
Who's Bob? We don't know any Bobs.
No, bits and bobs. It's like odds and sods.
Oh my God, will you please talk right?
Look, what you have to remember is that most importantly is that you love each other. You know, misunderstandings are just very superficial, really. Okay, so I'm not going to faff around, you know, it's all going to be tickety-boo. When you get back at the end of a long day and you're feeling a bit cream-crackered, shall we say, you know, she's being a bit gobby. Well, I mean, he perhaps has, his breath might be a bit sort of minging, as it were. Plonk yourselves down and have a bit of a snog. You know, if you don't snog enough, then you can run into all sorts of Barney, frankly.
So if I come back from the boozer all trolleyed,
Yeah, little snog.
if she's got the lurgy,
This is horrible.
Snog?
Bob's your uncle. I mean, our relationship's fixed.
Yes, otherwise, you know, you'll be gutted because your relationship will just go pear-shaped. And by the time you pop your clogs, you know, you'll have spent so many years in a rubbish marriage.
Are you kidding me right now?
I'm not winding you up, love. It's a doddle.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Aluminium, that's another word they don't pronounce the same as us.
Okay, so just a funny little skit, kind of joking approach to some of these differences. Geoff, did you pick up on any of the meanings for any of these, just from the context?
Yeah, I did when they were being said. Remembering them is always another thing, right? Like bits and bobs and odds and sides, they said was those synonyms for each other. So like kind of just like it's like odds and ends. I'm guessing it's like a
Yeah, random little things, insignificant things.
um. Snogging sounds horrible. I don't know if I probably.
Snogging sounds horrible. Okay.
Like if I told my wife like, hey, let's go snog, like I think she'd say like, oh, wait for the kids to.
Okay. Oh, the word sounds horrible. I thought you
Yeah.
meant the
No.
Good. Okay, so just to pick out one or two, have any of your students picked out any?
Let's see,
That's
guys in the chat.
No?
Let me know if you have any definitions.
So number 24, to pop your clogs. You know this? This means to die.
Oh, this.
Die. Number 4, to throw a wobbly.
Like to throw a fit. I'm guessing.
Exactly. Yeah, to get angry. Yeah, exactly.
What about shirty? Get shirty.
Shirty is the same. To get shirty with someone means to get angry.
Just a second.
Number 12, cream crackered.
I forgot. I heard it.
This is knackered. So it's a rhyming slang for knackered, and knackered means exhausted, very tired. Good. So I'm just going to finish us off with going back to young Archie, who's the fruit of transatlantic love and is going to be growing up pretty confused, I think, as to where his English is going. We're just going to give him the last word with a little snippet from Harry and Meghan's podcast.
Sure. One sec before snogging, we have a question from chat from Delio. Snogging means kissing.
Exactly, kissing, making out. Yeah.
Okay, Archie.
So, just as a real living example of some of the bumping together, rubbing together, bouncing off of American and British English, this guy has to deal with this on a daily basis. So we're going to hear him, and we're going to also hear Harry correcting the bad influence of American English on his son. We'll listen for this as we hear him speaking. Good, here we go.
You can speak in turn.
Archie, is it fun? Fun.
As a family, the trio signing off with holiday cheer.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy? New?
New?
New.
So what I thought was really cute about finishing here is just like whether you're British or American, we laugh the same way. And whether you end up becoming...
Sorry, my son's making a guess. Speaking of kids.
Whether you end up becoming a prince or a princess, a duke or a duchess, saying tomato or tomato, I just want to wish you all good luck with your English. Thank you for having me here with you today. It's been great.
Thank you, Mark. I'm sure everyone's clapping in their own
Thank you.
homes and in front of their phones and things. That's great. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for going over. I really appreciate that. That was very generous.
It's all right. My pleasure.
Again, at the top of the chat, I'll post it again one more time, though. Mark, you can be found at fluencyfinders.com.
That's right.
Okay. So I posted that link. And, of course, if you guys are trying to find him later, you can always send me a message as well. And I'll be happy to reach out to him, too. Great. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks for your questions and things like that. This was entertaining. I learned a few things. I got a lot of studying to do, Mark. This is pretty bad.
You've made a good start. Great job.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Thank
Let's
you.
head out, everyone. Thank you so much,
Bye.
guys. Hey, have a good
Bye-bye.
day. Have a good night. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye. Cool. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it.